excited to have Joni here, who is our acupuncturist and volunteered this month to get food. We appreciate that in the ground running. So take it away, Joni.
Thank you. I'm very excited to be here too. And I volunteered to get food, and then I was volunteered to do the presentation today, so I was really excited on Sunday when I found out.
I emailed you Friday.
Maybe I opened it on Sunday. So in ancient times, it was understood how important preventative medicine is. And while acupuncturists still use preventatively, it's also found to be very useful for acute and chronic conditions. And that's on all levels, so physically, mentally, and emotionally. So that's the wrong, this is the wrong slide. Okay, we'll keep going. With so much information to share about this medicine that I love so much, it is difficult to narrow it down. I can't make you an acupuncture expert in 10 minutes, but hopefully I can pique your interest and give you a little insight into the acupuncture world and bust some acupuncture myths. So the first myth, this is not true. I actually follow the law of natural healing, and that includes the law of fewest needles. My job is to work with nature to encourage healing, never to override it. Sometimes this can mean, not always, but sometimes this can mean that healing can be slower, but it also means that it's more long-lasting. Another myth is that if I have needle phobia, I cannot get acupuncture. I actually have several clients with needle phobia. I have clients that if they get their blood drawn, they pass out every time, but they're able to get acupuncture. I have several techniques that don't use needles. I have other techniques that help them be able to get needled, or even to ease their anxiety until we are able to do that. And that's not to say that those techniques aren't very powerful in themselves. Another one is that needles are too painful. And the truth is that everybody experiences needles differently. So different points feel different than other points, and they feel different on different days. And some points actually feel really good. And then some points are very sensational. I call them spicy. Other people have different names for them. Regardless, people love the way they feel afterwards and usually comment on an acupuncture high. Some people think I'm stimulating nerves. That is absolutely not what I'm doing. So if we're not stimulating nerves, what are we stimulating? So there's 12 main meridians that run bilaterally through the body. And there's 2 oceans of energy that run up the front of the body and the back of the body that feed these rivers. It feeds the body, mind, and spirit with chi energy, so vital force energy. When these are full and pure and flowing freely, we feel health and harmony. And when they're blocked or polluted or depleted, we experience symptoms, whether that's physical, mental, or emotional. This is why it's so important to look at preventative care also, because even though we may not feel symptoms yet, those depletions or blocks can be sensed with the pulses and other techniques in acupuncture that will prevent us from ever experiencing the disease or discomfort to begin with. As you can see, there's hundreds of points on the body, and the points are located on those rivers and oceans. And so I access those points in order to get a certain effect. And each one of those points has a certain characteristic or personality. I like to say that it's like a gift held within the point, and when that energy is stimulated, that gift is released through the entire person on all levels. For example, 1 point, the gate of life. The gate of life allows an opening to enable us to see ahead in life. When a person has been sick for some time, a gate can become stuck. In this case, there will be a lack of will or vitality in the body, mind, or spirit of the person. This point opens the gate so that life can surge up into the spirit and flow up throughout the person. This point revitalizes the person who has a lack of will to live. If the gate is stuck, it is hard to see, to hear, to smell, to taste life. I've actually had people say after treatment, it's like I can see better, things taste better, I can smell better. This person's spirit is not buried, but there is little energy nor interest in life, as in depression. This point brings back vitality, energy, and desire to really live. It is a very warming point, and it quiets aches, fears, and anxieties. Spirit burial ground. This point is the only point on the body that can resurrect a person's spirit. If the spirit is buried, not all the acupuncture treatment in the world, nor any other kind of treatment will touch it, only this point. In this case, the spirit is not dead, it is merely covered or pushed aside, it is unavailable. This shows in that the person may seem spiritless or no zest for life, no vitality or enthusiasm. They may look, and more importantly, feel robotic. The patient may put on a happy face, but the emptiness will show in their eyes. I understand that this may seem extreme, but it is through treating hundreds of people and needling this point so many times that I'm continually convinced of its power. For example, one woman, I needled this point and she started crying. And I asked her what the tears are for, and she said, after you needled that point, it was like I just received a message that this is going to be a good life. I had another person say, I feel like I'm back in my body. Another man said, I feel so calm. I can't believe it. I can't even remember the last time I felt this calm. And then a lot of people say, I feel better, but I don't know why. And then they look at me really weird, like, what are you doing? So, another myth. I have to believe in this for it to work, and that's simply not true. There are many people who come to acupuncture as a last resort and have little belief but have found many benefits in treatment. Sometimes it's what they came for, and sometimes it's what they came for and much, much more. I've had several clients who tell me that their spouses, children, counselors, doctors have noticed a difference in them even before they notice the difference. And it's especially rewarding when those people, family members and professionals, end up coming themselves. So with our critical minds, it's sometimes difficult to believe that something so gentle can be so effective. That's when looking to animals and children can be very convincing. Therefore, I will end with a couple video testimonials. The last client is mine, but the first one is not. But it's still obvious that she has no idea how she's supposed to feel about acupuncture, and the poor little thing was so stressed out she couldn't continue to do her job. As you will see, the acupuncture provided a lot of relief. I have technical difficulties here. So I'm going to play this on my phone. And then the last video, I apologize, is sideways, and we just couldn't make it straight up, so you'll just have to tilt your head. So, here's the video. This coming up.
There we go. Okay. So belly muscle 20. Right, so that should help to calm her a little bit. Good job. There she goes. Is she starting to sink? I do this all the time. I go, ooh. You can let her relax. If she wants to sink down, you can go down with her. Her eyes are closed. And that?
So the video's choppy too, sorry. So it's a chicken that couldn't lay her egg. She was so stressed out, And they put a needle in Governor Vessel 20, top of the head, and she relaxed and plopped an egg out.
Do me a favor, don't show that to my wife. I can just see it right now. Bill for the day in household.
More eggs today, Dan.
Okay, hang on.
I had a thought.
How do we do this? Yes. Okay.
That's why he's chairing it, guys.
Wow.
Well, I pushed the wrong button. Okay, I've got to get this to come up on my...
Oh, there it is. That's fine.
Okay, are we ready? Okay, so at the same time, right?
Hi, my name is Elliot and I go to Acupuncture for this pain on my heel called severs. My acupuncture name is Joni. She's so nice. Whenever the needles go in me and don't hurt, after I feel amazing. Whenever I go there, it's my favorite state in the world.
So that's Elliot. You didn't really get to see him,
Can
so.
you play it again? Sorry.
Sure.
Let's start asking Joni some questions. And then we'll see if we can't play that again.
Do you use electrostimulation?
I don't. No, I do mostly 5 element acupuncture. I do some other more symptomatic protocols that I'll bring in, like I do for Elliot. So we do a very symptomatic just for the severs on his heels, but then we also put some beads, and this is great for adults or kids with focus attention problems, and again, adults too. And there's 2 points on the ear, just very simple. You can use seeds, you can use beads, you can use, I have these little tiny, they're called tacks, but they're just the tiniest needles. And he came in one day, he had a brownie for lunch, and he was just bouncing off the walls. So we had the needles in his feet, but he was very restless. I put those seeds on his ears, and he just completely relaxed. His mom was looking at me like, I'm coming every day. So that's been great for him.
Where did you get your training?
In Louisville, actually. So I had such a profound experience with acupuncture personally. I went to TCM before. I had chronic pain, depression, anxiety, and I thought the TCM treatment was cool, but I didn't get a lot out of it. And so then my mom forced me to go to a 5 element practitioner. My mom was a Marine, so she definitely can force you to do something. And it changed my life. Within 2 months, I was ready to file for disability at the beginning of the month, and at the end of the month, I was working a full-time job and running. So by 2 months, I was signing up for acupuncture school, and so it was important to me to go to a 5 element school because I felt like I could get that really strong foundation and then just add to the other protocols that are kind of more symptomatic, like I do with Elliot. So.
How long do the benefits stay with you after a session?
That's a great question. So it's really different for everyone. After my first treatment, my first 5 element treatment personally, I felt good for about 45 minutes for the next day, but then it gradually grew and grew and grew. And so that's always the goal for people. Some people feel better immediately, and some people it takes time. And you know, like I have clients that come in and they're in tears and they leave feeling like a different person. And I have clients that it's just very small little changes and they just kind of have faith. You know, one example is a client I treated for 6 months, and she said, each time I couldn't really tell that something significant was happening, but looking back 6 months ago, I'm a completely different person than I was then. And then her sensitivity to treatment grew too, so she was more able to tell that changes were happening more quickly. So the other part of that question too is this is really a partnership. It's not just, you know, you come in and I make you feel better and you leave and go do whatever's making you feel bad again. It's really about partnering and making changes and really looking at, well, if I'm doing this and it's harming me and I know it's harming me, then why am I doing it? And so that's where the magic of acupuncture comes in, is it helps us to make better choices for ourselves. It gives us this strength inside that, you know, most of us usually know what we need to do, but why don't we do it? Well, we're exhausted or we're tired or we have some kind of resistance. So it helps break that resistance, it builds that inner strength.
So we have time for one more.
Does 5 Elements include drinking herbs?
No.
Well, that was a short one.
That was
One
short.
more.
Wow.
Do you ever have anybody that come to you if they're looking for kind of like, you know, in their own spiritual advancement, like kind of like that nudge to,
Absolutely.
and is there like a certain protocol for that, or is it more of like an interview and this is what I feel?
So the beauty of it is that we're kind of all on that journey whether we know it or not, and some of us are embracing it and some of us are fighting it. But the physical, the mental, and the emotional all goes together. So someone can come in because they have neck pain and they just think I'm treating their neck pain, but I'm treating all of them as a person. And they may be forthcoming with what's happening in their life and they may not, but it doesn't matter because what I'm looking at, what I'm sensing, what I'm evaluating has not as much to do with what they tell me as they think. So, so people can come in and say that, but really I'm just treating the person, whether they say I want spiritual enlightenment, or I want to become a triathlete, or I have digestive problems, or I hate my spouse, whatever their issue is, or maybe they just, like I said, preventatively, maybe they just want to stay well. Maybe they just want stress relief. So really, it is absolutely, completely tailored to them as a person. And that's where the difference comes in with 5 Elements also, is I can have 3 people come in with headaches. I'm not going to look in a book and look up a protocol. Oh, this is what we do for headaches. I'm going to ask them questions about their life, about themselves, and maybe they'll tell me, maybe they won't. It doesn't matter that much, but I'm really looking at other diagnostic cues, and then I'm treating them individually. So all 3 people could have completely different protocols.
All right, well, thanks very much, Joni.